Picture this: in a world already buzzing with geopolitical tensions, China has just accused Japan of stepping over a dangerous line by hinting at military action to protect Taiwan. It's a bold claim that could spark fires in the Pacific, and it's got everyone talking. As China's top diplomat slams Japan's new leadership, we are diving deep into what's really at stake here. But here's where it gets controversial: is this just diplomatic posturing, or a real threat to regional peace? Stick around to find out why this issue might just redefine how countries interact in Asia. Reporting from Taipei, Taiwan, the Associated Press brings us the latest on this brewing storm. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi didn't mince words when he declared that Japan had crossed a red line, with comments from its new Prime Minister, Sanae Takaichi, who suggested Japan might intervene militarily if China took aggressive steps against Taiwan. These remarks, made earlier this month, painted a scenario where a Chinese naval blockade or other moves on Taiwan could trigger a Japanese military response, something Wang called shocking in a statement released on the Chinese Foreign Ministry's website. To break it down for beginners, a red line in diplomacy is like an invisible boundary you don't cross without serious consequences. Wang Yi went further, accusing Japan's current leaders of sending the wrong message by openly discussing military involvement in the Taiwan situation. It is shocking that Japan's current leaders have publicly sent the wrong signal of attempting military intervention in the Taiwan issue, said things they shouldn't have said, and crossed a red line that should not have been touched, Wang Yi stated emphatically. He emphasized that China must resolutely respond to these actions and urged all nations to work together to prevent the resurgence of Japanese militarism. For those new to this, militarism refers to a policy where a country heavily emphasizes military power and might, often at the expense of peace, something that echoes Japan's dark history from World War II, which China is keen to recall as a cautionary tale. This isn't just talk. Takaichi's words have already fueled rising tensions between Beijing and Tokyo over the past few weeks. On Friday, China escalated matters by firing off a letter to United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres. In it, they blasted Takaichi's statements as a grave violation of international law and basic diplomatic etiquette. And this is the part most people miss: the letter was penned by China's UN Ambassador Fu Tsong, who warned that if Japan dared to launch an armed intervention into the so-called Cross-Strait situation, that's the term for the waters separating mainland China from Taiwan, it would constitute an act of aggression. Fu Tsong stressed that China would firmly exercise its right to self-defense under the UN Charter and international law, standing ready to protect its sovereignty and territorial integrity. It's a reminder that, in their view, Taiwan isn't just a disputed island, it's a core part of China that must be defended at all costs. Want to stay in the loop with the latest headlines? Keep up with AP News and our top stories by following our WhatsApp channel. It's an easy way to get updates straight to your phone. Just search for the link in our bio. Digging deeper into the background, Beijing regards self-governing Taiwan, a place once under Japanese control, as a colony, as an inseparable part of its own territory, ready to be reunified by force if push comes to shove. China fiercely opposes any foreign interference in Taiwan affairs, especially from the United States, which is Taiwan's primary arms supplier, and U.S. allies in the region like Japan and the Philippines. This opposition stems from a belief that such involvement undermines China's national unity, much like how a family might resist outsiders meddling in their internal disputes. Prime Minister Takaichi's position stands out as more assertive than her predecessors, who voiced worries about China's looming threat to Taiwan but stopped short of outlining a direct military response. For example, past Japanese leaders might have expressed general support for peace in the region without specifying what Japan would do if China attacked or blockaded Taiwan, until now. Takaichi has stood her ground, refusing to back down on her remarks but promising to steer clear of discussing hypothetical scenarios going forward. This shift could signal a tougher stance from Japan, perhaps influenced by growing concerns over China's military exercises near Taiwan, which have included everything from live fire drills to tank maneuvers. Now, let's talk controversy. Some might argue that Takaichi's comments are a necessary show of strength to deter aggression, protecting democratic Taiwan from potential invasion. Others see it as reckless saber-rattling that risks dragging Japan into a conflict it might not win. And here's a thought-provoking twist: could China's accusations actually be a strategic play to isolate Japan and weaken alliances in Asia? Or is Japan rightfully asserting its interests in a changing world order? This situation touches on bigger questions. When does defending a neighbor cross into meddling? Should countries like Japan stay out of Taiwan's fate, or do global allies have a duty to intervene? What do you think? Do Takaichi's remarks justify China's outrage, or is this just another round in an endless blame game? Share your opinions in the comments below. I'm curious to hear if you side with China's firm stance or see Japan's position as a prudent precaution. Let's keep the conversation going.